Well, welcome to Business 210, Principles of Management, online, hybrid, sort of face-to-face with Professor Jolene. If you're doing Business 210, and we are kind of calling this an introductory video to kind of get us started off right. I hope every one of you are watching this video, watch the whole video, because it's only a few hours long. No, it's not that long at all, but it'll really let you know what we're going to be doing this semester. Now, if you're taking Business 210, you have already had Introduction to Business. You know a business is any entity that seeks to provide goods and services to others for profit. We know how important a profit is. We know how important businesses are. If you had Introduction to Business with me, probably right off we talked about what would happen if businesses all went away. And we'd go back 200 years in time. And of course, as I'm filming this introduction, we're still in the grips of this pandemic, COVID-19. I'm doing this in the very first part of August. And so businesses are having to kind of reinvent themselves. Businesses are really struggling. But we know probably now more than ever before how important businesses are to us. Okay, within a business, you have a lot of folks at work. But some people have to determine the vision for that business. They have to determine what the mission of it is, what that business is going to sell, how it's going to do it, who's going to be employed, what's going to be done, that sort of thing. That's the mission, or that's the objective of management. Businesses must have management, but not just management. They've got to have effective management. They've got to have people that can plan stuff, people that can organize things, people that can control what's going on, and people that can lead other people. Good leadership is a critical part. So in Business 210, we're going to be learning about the principles of management. Now, of all the stuff that I teach, and I enjoy every class, people ask me sometimes, what's your favorite class? It's probably the one I'm teaching that particular time. But management's what I have my degrees in. Management's what I did senior level management most of my career. So I really enjoy management, and I know how critical effective or good management is for a company. So I think you're going to find this to be an interesting and a fun and a pretty exciting course that you're going to be taking. All right, since it's the introductory part, I'm going to pick up my syllabi. I call them course contracts, but my syllabi, and I'm just going to kind of talk our way through a little bit this syllabi, talking a bit about 3 truths that you need to know about, and kind of get us set up to start chapter 1 and start moving through principles of management. If you're a business and technology major, which probably most of you are that are taking this, it's a required course in that curriculum. Okay. When you look at this syllabus or contract document, I'll probably call it that, you're going to see that it's, I said that some things in here are applicable to only face-to-face. And normally I've talked about this is not applicable to hybrid or online. But most of it is applicable where, regardless of how we do it. Number 1 key thing for you, excuse me, I can't get my throat clear. Key thing for you this semester, communication. You've got to communicate with me and to be successful in this course. Make sure that you know what's going on, what's expected, when's expected, and that sort of thing. In my contract document, I have my cell phone number, I have my email. You can email me, you can text me, you can call me, but anytime you have a problem or anything, or you have a question, please communicate with me. Now, I've laid this out really well, I think, where you can go through, whether we're in if you're taking this class face-to-face, we've kind of moved it to a hybrid. We'll meet some in the classroom just to see if I have questions, just to kind of make some, some comments and that sort of thing. But a lot of what you're going to be doing online through Canvas, but it's going to be really easy for you, I promise. So if you're a pro at online, you'll have no problem with this whatsoever. If you don't like online classes, and I say I like face-to-face classes, I think you'll find with the hybrid part of this, with the part that we're going to be doing online and how we do it, plus meeting once a week to clarify, answer questions, discuss anything that needs to be discussed, I think you'll be doing well. I think you'll do quite well. Okay, communication again is the key. I'm just kind of looking at my handout. Do you need the textbook? About half my students will get a textbook, about half the students will not. I've listed here what the textbook is. I do a video for each chapter, and in that video I give you the information you need. I would say this, if you would like the textbook as a resource, I think that would be fine. Do you have to have the textbook to do a good job in this class? The answer is no, you do not. Okay, how do I grade? How do I do things like that? We have 400-point tests in this class. Test 1, Test 2, Test 3, Test 4, each one of them are 100 points, and Test 4 is the final. In addition to the 400-point test, you're going to do a 3-page or 800-word research report at the end of the semester. You're going to do a management article. You're going to read something about management and write me up a little 1-page, 300-word summary of it. And then you've got a couple of mini MINI assignments that I want you to do that I think you'll find interesting to do, and we'll talk about them as we get a little further into our contract document. The other two things is there's a little contract acceptance thing that you have to do using HonorLock. I'm not going to use HonorLock with the test, but I am going to use HonorLock for you to accept the contract, and there'll be information on how to do that. And then I have about 30 points in here for professionalism. That means you simply do what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it. Get your assignments, test into me properly, contact me if you need to, and that sort of thing. Okay. Again, I'm just kind of looking down through our contract document, seeing if there are particular things that I need to talk about. Some things in here have to do with attendance and being punctual and that sort of thing. It's not really important when we're doing this hybrid or online. Dates. August the 17th is when school starts. September the 7th, which is a Monday, is a Labor Day holiday. October the 8th and 9th is fall break. Now, this one is kind of important. The last day that you can drop a course, any other course besides this course with a W, is October the 27th. You're not going to want to drop this course because you're going to be doing great in it on October the 27th. We have a couple of days off for Thanksgiving, November the 26th and 27th. And that following week, December the 1st through the 4th, we'll be taking finals. So you'll come back from Thanksgiving and take finals. Office hours. What I'm probably going to do is, I'm going to be here on Mondays and Tuesdays. So if you're doing this online, that doesn't matter to you. But if you're doing this face-to-face, and we've kind of turned it into a hybrid, I will meet with your class at your regular class time on Monday and Tuesdays to answer any questions you have, to do anything that would be helpful for you. And then if you have some individual questions or things, I'm going to stay a little bit later after the classes so that we can, so that I can answer those. So I kind of have some office hours built in with my class time. However, I'm going to have sort of office hours all the time, because if you need me for something, text me, phone me, or email me. Now, you really can't see this as I hold it up like this to you, I don't think. However, the way I have done this class assignments, Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 3, Unit 4. So Unit 1 starts on August the 17th or 18th, depending on what day you start. Unit 1 goes from August the 17th to September the 18th. During that time, we do chapters 1 through 4, mini assignment 1, and test number 1. Unit 2 is September 21st through October the 16th. We do chapters 5 through 9. We do our management news article and test number 2. Unit 3, October 19th, November 6th. Chapters 10 through 13, test number 3. Unit 4, November the 9th through December the 6th. That's through the end of finals. Chapters 14 through 16, mini assignment number 2. You do your research paper, which is that 3-page, 800-word paper. And then we have our final. The final is 100 points. It's on chapters 14 through 16, but it then goes back, and there are some things that are going to be in the first 13 chapters that are really important that I'm going to have on the final. But when I do a final review for you, I'll give you that information, okay? All right, so I just want you to know, and again, you probably can't read this, but when you're looking at your contract document, right here, this tells you what we're going to be doing when. And by the way, I'm not going to open up all 4 units at the same time, because I don't want somebody trying to finish the course by the end of August. That wouldn't be good for you, wouldn't be good for me as well. So first of all, what am I going to be doing and when? Right here. So you know through August the 17th through September the 18th, we're going to be doing chapters 1 through 4, mini assignment number 1, and test number 1. Now again, those of you that signed up for the face-to-face, we will be meeting, if you signed up for this class at 11 o'clock Monday, Wednesday, then on Monday at 11 o'clock, I will be here in this room, which is 363, to answer any questions you have, to clear up any questions you have, anything like that. And probably the first day that you'll be coming, because you really probably won't know too much about the hybrid thing. But I'll be in here each Monday of each week, in case you need anything as far as the class is concerned. So I want you to be, now, if you've got it, if you're moving along well, do you have to come to class? No. It's just if you need to. All right. Management news article. What do I want you to do? I want you to find something to do, something about management. In a periodical, a magazine, off of the internet, there's hundreds of articles. I want you to read that article and summarize what that article was about for me. Tell me who the author was, tell me where you got the information from, and that sort of thing. It's due no later than Friday, October 16th. So you can tell management news article, that's in that September 21st to October 16th, Unit 2. But it tells you what to do. Now the research paper, I want you to research something about management, something maybe we've talked about through the semester. It doesn't have to be. Maybe it's a company you're interested in. Maybe it's leadership you're interested in. Maybe it's motivation. There's so many things as we talk about management. But what I want you to do is to research something. Go out, find 3 different sources outside of the text, and then do an 800-word, basically 3-page research. Read 3 different sources, 3 different articles, and then in your own words summarize what you learned, that sort of thing, when you did your research. Pick a topic of interest from those covered in the text and word process a minimum 800-word research report. Use a minimum of 3 sources. You must use the 3 sources. Even if you want to use your book, you have to use 3 other sources. Identify the sources at the end of your research paper. Here's where I got my sources. The report is due no later than Wednesday, November the 25th. That's in a part of Unit 4. That's right before we get out for Thanksgiving. Your summary should include why you chose a topic, what it was about, and the most interesting thing you learned. Why did I choose to do it on this? In my research, what did my research show? Kind of summarize it. And what was it that I enjoyed the most? That's what you do for your research report. Now, mini assignments. One mini assignment is due on Friday, September the 18th. That's a part of Unit 1. That mini assignment talks about business ethics and social responsibility. What are your thoughts about businesses being ethical and socially responsible? Do you have to look up a lot of stuff? Nope. It's just your thoughts on businesses being ethical and socially responsible. Now you need to be sure you know what ethics and social responsibility is, and you can find that in the text. You can find that in our notes that I of course will provide you, and write that little one-page mini assignment. Then on November the 20th, that's part of Unit 4, you'll do a little mini assignment on leadership. Word process a one-page double-spaced report about someone you know or know about you feel is an excellent leader. Discuss the reasons that you think this person is the leader that they are. Do you have to do a lot of research? No. I just want you to come up with somebody that you know. It could be a friend of yours, it could be a relative, it could be a somebody national figure that you think is a really good leader, and tell me why. Okay. Now I did that pretty quickly. And also at the back of the contract document are the information about COVID and the things that we have to follow with that and all that sort of thing. Okay. When I come into class, if you come into class with me, excuse me again, I'll be masked up just like you will be, and we'll be socially distanced and that sort of thing. Okay. But now you know what you need to do for Business 210 for the semester. Unit 1, test number 1, chapters 1 through 4, and mini assignment number 1, which is laid out in your contract document. Unit 2, you do your management news article, chapters 5 through 9, test number 2. Unit 3 is chapters 10 through 13, no mini assignments or anything, you take test 3. In Unit 4, chapters 14 through 16 is what we'll cover. Mini assignment number 2, which has to do with leadership. Your research paper, that's that 800-word research paper that you're doing, and then the comprehensive finals, chapters 14 through 16, and then some things going all the way back. So right here in your contract document, you know everything that you'll need to be doing this semester. Okay. I will have for you on Canvas, when you go into this class, you'll have obviously the contract document. Also, I do notes for each chapter. Now I'm going to have to tell you, the notes are not real pretty. They're just hand notes that I've done for myself. They're good, they're comprehensive, they give you all the information you need. They're just not real cute. So that being the case, but you're going to have notes for like Unit 1. With the very first, when you start looking at Unit 1, you'll see study notes for Unit 1, and that'll give you all the notes for chapters 1 through 4. So you're going to have available to you the contract document. So if at any time you have a question about when is something new, what are we going to be doing, you've got it right here. You're going to have study notes for chapters 1 through 4. And we're going to do a video for each chapter. So instead of, I'm in room 363. We've got this room set up as a studio. Professor Ryan Pierce, who is my boss, he's my executive producer of the videos. So what I'm going to do is for every chapter, I'm going to do a video for you. So as we get started, you go into Canvas and you look, Unit 1. Well, you know that Unit 1 is August the 17th through September the 18th, I think. Unit 1, you're going to have the study notes for the unit. You're going to have a video for each chapter, and then you'll have I think mini assignment number 1, it'll be in there for you to do, and then test number 1. So it's laid out really well, and it's almost like being in the classroom, because I'll be talking to you just like I am now through each one of those chapters. Something else that I do while it's on my mind, to help us get through those chapters, I like to point out to you things that I think are the very most important. When we get to chapter 1, we get the definition of management. You think the definition of management is important? Yep. You think it's going to be on the test? Yep. So I'm going to tell you as I go through in video and discuss the chapter with you, I'm going to tell you if something is something you need to know. If you need to know it, that means that it's probably going to be on the test as a definition, a discuss, a list, or something like that. If I say you need to be familiar with it, it's probably going to be a true, false, a multiple choice, a matching, a fill in the blank, something like this. So not only will you have a video for each chapter, but when I do the video, I will point out the know items and the be familiar with items in each chapter, which should really help you as you go through and look at the video, should really help you to be prepared for the test. All right. Okay, I think that's most everything as far as it's kind of the logistics of the class. By the way, the tests are a combination of things. On the test, you'll probably have, each test, you'll probably have a couple of definitions. You'll have some true, false, fill in the blank with a word bank, matching, multiple choice, and then 2 or 3 questions that might be like explain or list and explain or discuss, something like that. Remember those discuss, list and explain, list, those questions and the definitions are things you need to know, which I'll point out for you in the chapter. The things that you need to be familiar with in the chapter will be the true, false, fill in the blank, multiple choice, matching, that type of thing. All right. You've signed up for the class, and I'm glad to have you in the class, but you still have to pass one more hurdle, I guess is the word, to really get into this class, okay? Because there are 3 truths that you have to believe in. If you don't believe these 3 truths, first of all, you don't need to be in business, and you probably certainly don't need to be in management, and you make a horrible manager, and you make a lot of your employees really unhappy. So if you want to keep going in this class, 3 truths that you need to believe in. So I'm going to go over these 3 truths with you and see if you want to stay in. Okay? Truth number 1. In 2020, the customer rules. What does that mean? That means that if you as a business don't satisfy that customer consistently, your business is going to go belly up. You have to satisfy the customer. You have to provide what the customer wants when the customer wants it. You've got to have a quality product that's available. The customer rules in 2020. So if I ask you the question, who's the ultimate boss of a company? Well, it's the board of directors. No. Well, it's the president or the CEO. No. It's really the customer. See where I'm coming from? As an employee in a business, as a manager in a business, as an owner of a business, do you have to keep in your mind as you go about planning things, as you go about organizing stuff, as you go about, if you're a manager, leading your people, as you go about controlling the direction the organization goes in? Who's got to be uppermost in your mind? The customer. The customer rules in 2020. All right, you okay with that? If you're okay with that, let's try truth number 2. Number 2, during your career, during your lifetime of your career where you're out making money, you're going to be an employee, you're going to be a manager, or you're going to be an owner, or you're going to be some combination of these three things. You may be an employee for a while. You may go into management. You may own your own business at some point. That way you'd be all three of these. Some people have been an employee, a good employee of a company for 30, 40 years, retire, and they were always an employee. Some people went in directly into management. Okay, so you're saying, oh, okay, I get that, but what's the truth? I mean, I understand it, but I don't have any problem with that. All right, well, let's go a little bit further. If you want to be successful in your business, these folks have to operate as a team. Every employee in a business has worth. Does that make sense? Every employee has worth. Every employee should be treated with respect. And every employee should be shown dignity. Is that important? Darn right, it's important. What that's saying is it takes a combination to make that business successful. If you ever get to be a manager and you say, well, I used to be an employee, but now I'm a manager. I'm not one of those people anymore. I'm in management. Hope somebody takes a 2x4 and slaps you upside the head and knocks some sense into you. It's not the way it works. Yeah, look, these people do things that are different from these people that do things that are different from these people. There's different responsibilities and everything, especially for employees in management. These folks may not even be actively, in the business, although they may. But different folks have different responsibilities. Different folks do different things. Some folks have some really, really important things, but is one person better than another? No. Is that employee going to be able to make that company a success by themselves? No. So what you have to do as a manager, you need to be sure that it's a team effort. Everybody has worth, everybody has dignity, everybody should be treated with respect. I go crazy on this in a face-to-face class, and I won't go crazy on it here, but I'll give you a couple of real quick examples. A school. You're familiar with a school, elementary and secondary schools, okay? You went through elementary school, you went through high school. I don't know. Let's talk about, just talk about school. Well, who's the kind of the boss of the school? Well, the principal. Then you have teachers and you have students and that sort of thing. All right, so I'm the principal of a school. Principal. Teachers, students. Now I've got some other people that work there. I've got people like cafeteria workers, like bus drivers. They really don't do that much, but they're part of the school too. See, that's the attitude that's going to make you unsuccessful. That's the attitude that's going to get you hit upside the head. Let's talk a little bit about bus operators, people that drive buses. You know, there's some people in Ouachita Parish that the only way they can get to school is on a bus, because their family may not have transportation, or their family may not care that much about getting them to school. You say, are you sure? Yeah, I know. I was in elementary and secondary education for 30 years, so I know about it. Well, that's just those poor people over it. No, it's not those poor people over it. That's every socioeconomic class. You have situations where if it wasn't for the people who do transportation, those bus operators, folks wouldn't get to school. Something else, bus operators sometimes are the best counselors around. Kids will talk to bus operators who may not talk to somebody else. Sometimes a bus operator will see you in the wintertime, a kid gets on the bus and they never have on a coat. Is that because they're hot-blooded? No, it's because they don't have a coat. They don't own a coat. I've seen bus operators get coats for kids. I've seen bus operators get other things for kids that kids need. So, can you learn if you can't get to school? Well, maybe some online. But traditionally speaking, you got to get in the classroom. Are bus operators important? Tremendously important. What about cafeteria workers? You know, even in an air-conditioned school, that's kind of a hot job back there in the kitchen. Are they very important? You ever been hungry? I mean, really hungry. Really hungry. Few of us have ever been really hungry. But you've been a little hungry from time to time. Do you think you could learn if you're really hungry? Where that gnawing in your stomach won't go away? Do you realize that for a lot of people in Ouachita Parish, or Franklin Parish, or East Carroll, or West Carroll, or wherever you happen to be, whatever parish you're from, there's a lot of people that the best 2 meals they get a day are breakfast and lunch at school. You realize there's a lot of students that's the only 2 meals that they can be guaranteed of each day throughout any and all social and economic classes. So are cafeteria workers important? Yeah, see, that's the attitude you have to be an effective manager. There are employees, there are managers, and there are owners. It takes a team to do it. Different people have to play different roles. They have different responsibilities. But you've got to treat everybody with worth, respect, and dignity. Okay, you got it? Are you okay with that? Number 3. Truth number 3. Managers manage what? What do you think? Jobs? Let's do it this way. Managers manage people or employees. A couple of things I want to tell you about that. And I alluded to it a little bit earlier. As a manager, are you going to be able to get everything done yourself? No. Managers manage people. Who's going to be doing the vast majority of the work? Now, it may be a custodial job. It may be a cafeteria job. It may be something. It may be something in computers. It could be any level of skills. But you've got employees, and they're going to be doing most of the work. You're going to be doing the management. So what does that tell you? Whether you're a successful manager or not depends a lot on what? Your employees. So truth number 3 has to do with managers manage people. The fact that employees are the ones that's going to make or break you most of the time. So is leadership important? Yes. You see why this stuff is important? You got to have this attitude about people to be able to manage people effectively. And if you don't manage people effectively and they don't get the work done, what's going to happen to you as a manager? Hopefully, you're going to get fired. Because we don't need managers out there that operate as if they know it all, they do it all, and nobody else really matters. If you want to go into management, and it's a great field, I love it. I was in it for 30 plus years. You got to like people. If you don't like people, don't be a manager. You're not going to like it, they're not going to like it, you're going to make everybody miserable. You've got to like people. You've got to be able to communicate with people. You've got to be able to really communicate with folks. And you've got to like folks. And you've got to be able to make good decisions. Because decisions you make don't affect just you. It affects your employees as well if you're in management. So those are kind of, in a quick and dirty way, are the 3 truths. I want you to be not a manager, I want you to be an effective manager. I want you to make a difference. Make a difference for the company, make a difference in your life, make a difference for those people you manage. So, if you can believe that in 2020 the customer rules, you've got to satisfy the customer. If you can believe that within an organization you have employees, managers, and owners, All must be treated with worth and dignity and respect. And if you can believe that managers manage people, and your success as a manager is going to, in a large way, is going to be determined by those people, those employees that you manage. If you like people, if you make good decisions, if you communicate well with people, this will work well. Those are the three truths. Can you buy them? Okay. If you can buy into those three truths, we're getting ready to sign off this introductory video in just a minute, and you can come back and look at the Chapter 1 video. Okay. All right. I hope you've made the decision that you can do that. But I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of great managers out there. Now, a lot of you are working, and some of you may be managers. So, how'd you feel about this? A lot of you may be just at the employee level, but we know how important you are, don't we? What's your manager like? Does your manager know these three truths? I hope they do. A lot of times students will tell me, man, I've got a great manager. And when they tell me about it, it makes me think about these things. But I'm going to tell you, there's some poor managers out there. They're not effective. We need to get rid of them and replace them with folks like you. All right. So I think we've kind of covered most of the introductory video. You know a pretty good bit about how we're going to operate the class. Again, if you're online, you'll have everything there for you. If you're doing the face-to-face / hybrid, we're going to meet once a week. We're going to meet on Monday. You can pretty much do this totally online, but we're going to, since you've signed up for a face-to-face class, just to be sure, we're going to meet each, I think, Monday, and we're going to go through any questions you have, anything like that. If you're doing well, if you understand it, you're moving through, do you have to come to class? Not at all. If you just have a question or something you want to ask me, text me, something like that, can you do that? Yes, but I will be available here for you on Monday in case you have something. Now, Professor Pierce, as I told you, is my executive producer. And what he likes me to do, he likes me to make a loud noise so he knows that I have finished a video. So he starts slicing and splicing those videos and putting them in the right slots and everything in Canvas. So I'm getting ready to make a loud video, go over here to my makeup artist and everything, get all fixed back up again, and I'm getting ready to start in just a few minutes, Chapter 1. I am excited about having you in management. I love business. I love the management part of business, and I love to have you kind of share it with me this fall semester here at Delta. So we are getting ready to sign off. See you in Chapter 1.